The villagers of Cove called it the jewel of the coast. And they were not wrong. Their nets, once cast for humble sardines, now bulged with ruby-red shrimp and silver tuna that fetched fortunes in the capital. Their wooden huts had been replaced by houses of white coral and blue-tinted glass, their boats inlaid with mother-of-pearl. They grew rich, and with their riches they grew proud. Their laughter was loud, their feasts lavish, and their hearts as hard and polished as the shells they adorned their homes with. The one exception was Alara. A weaver of nets, she lived simply on the edge of the village. She was kind, a quality the others saw as a quaint weakness, a relic of their poorer days. While the village basked in its good fortune, Alara's heart remained soft, her hands open. One evening, as a storm brewed on the horizon, a figure stumbled into the village square. It was an old woman, her clothes tattered, her face etched with exhaustion. She clutched a small, worn satchel and leaned heavily on a gnarled walking stick. "Please," she rasped, her voice thin as wind through reeds. "A cup of water, a corner of your hearth. I have traveled far and can go no further." The laughter stopped. A wealthy fish merchant, his rings glinting in the fatting light, sneered. "This is no place for beggars. We have worked for our fortune. We do not share it with vagrants." A ripple of agreement, laced with cruelty, passed through the crowd. "Begone, crone!" another shouted. "Your sort brings bad luck." They shooed her away as if she were a mangy dog, their fine clothes a stark contrast to her rags. Only Alara stepped forward. "Please," she said gently, taking the old woman's arm. "You are weary, come to my home. It is not grand, but you are welcome." The woman allowed herself to be led away, but she cast a long, sorrowful look back at the villagers, who were already returning to their revelry. As Alara guided her through the winding streets, she felt the old woman's hand tighten on her arm. The woman turned her ancient, watery eyes on Alara. "You have a kind heart," she whispered, her voice suddenly strong and clear, carrying a strange, echoing power. "That alone will save you. Your village has grown fat on pride and poisoned itself with cruelty. Tonight a storm will come, not of wind and rain, but of water rising from the very earth. It will be a flood unseen in 1,000 years." Alara stopped, her blood running cold. "A flood, but we are on the coast. We have had storms before." The old woman shook her head, her gaze piercing. "This is different. This is a judgment. The sea remembers the kindness it gave them, and it will take it back. You must leave. Now, take the path that climbs the serpent's spine, the highest cliff. Do not look back, no matter what you hear. The water will not touch you there." Before Alara could ask another question, the old woman smiled, and it was like the sun breaking through clouds. She let go of Alara's arm and walked away, disappearing around a corner as if she were made of mist. Alara, trembling, ran home. She gathered only what she could carry, her heart pounding with a frantic fear she couldn't explain. As she fled through the sleeping village, the first rumbles began. The ground beneath her feet groaned, and a strange, guttural sound emanated from the earth. The sea, calm just moments before, began to churn unnaturally. The magical storm, the old woman's prophecy, was coming. Alara scrambled up the steep, rocky path of the serpent's spine. Her legs burned, her lungs ached. Below, she heard the terrified screams of her neighbors as the earth cracked and the sea began to climb. It wasn't a crashing wave, but a steady, malevolent rise. The water was unnatural, dark and frothing, seeming to seek out the village's expensive homes, swallowing them whole. The crystal windows shattered, the coral walls crumbled, and the sparkling boats were tossed about like children's toys. The proud fish merchant's screams were cut short as his grand house was consumed. Their wealth meant nothing. Their arrogance provided no shelter from the rising, vengeful sea. Just as Alara reached the safety of the high cliff, she heard the water gurgle and hiss, a sound of insatiable hunger. She turned to look, a single tear for the people she had known all her life, even for the ones who had been cruel. But below her, the village of Viridian Cove was gone. A vast, shimmering lake had taken its place, its surface as calm and reflective as a polished mirror. Where the jewel of the coast had stood, there was only water, placid and deep, holding the ghosts of their pride beneath its silent depths. Alara stood alone on the cliff, the wind whipping her hair. She was the only one left, a keeper of the lesson learned too late.